The main character is cursed by his world. He lives in a medieval town where all the inhabitants shun him and call him a scavenger. The guy wants to sell some finds, but the dealer pays him much lower than the market price. The hero is indignant, but the man says that he has no right to speak and he is just a garbage bastard. We are told that this world is full of dangerous monsters. They are hunted by people called adventurers. They fight every day, extracting valuable and rare resources. By killing monsters, adventurers increase their level, which means a big jump in strength. The level decides everything in this life, and the life of the main character occupies the lowest level. The guy's name is Ark. He has a good relationship with the baker, who leaves him bread. The baker offers Ark to quit his job as an adventurer, but the guy thinks it's too late to quit this business. Since childhood, he dreamed of becoming an adventurer, but when he became one, it turned out that a curse was placed on him, the inability to raise the level. And, no matter how hard Ark tried fighting monsters, the level remained the same. And eventually he ran out of money. Without realizing it, he began to rob the corpses left by the adventurers. For this, he was nicknamed Scavenger. Resources of the first level are not needed by anyone, so you have to rob high-level monsters. Walking down the street with bread, Ark encounters an adventurer named Jark. Before the guy has time to apologize, they throw him to the ground and crush the bread, humiliating him again. The whole town knows that they call him the Scavenger. They hate him so much that they don't want to take any work. The guy is depressed and does not understand why they treat him like that. In order not to starve to death, he wanders around the goblin lair in search of corpses. Suddenly, he smells carrion and finds the corpse of a high-level dragon. Of course, everything valuable was taken away. Ark cuts open the dragon's stomach and finds armor there. A powerful aura emanates from her, and the guy wants to run away. An unknown voice says to put on armor. The scavenger gets scared and tries to escape, but the path is blocked by goblins. Ark tries to fight, but loses his sword. Then he agrees with the armor's suggestion to put it on, saying that it's better than being killed by goblins. The armor of the abyss is put on the new owner by itself. The guy has a sharp sword in his hand. Ark easily deals with all goblins, starting to glow in battle. After finishing with the monsters, the scavenger realizes with shock that he has raised his level to the 6th. The guy doesn't understand how he raised the level, because he can't get experience. The system notifies him that thanks to the Abyss armor, he has gained the ability to absorb level. Ark is crying with happiness. He is inspired by the fact that he can become much stronger, but his joy is interrupted by the terrible smell of a corpse. The guy doesn't pay much attention to it. Suddenly, the thought comes into his head that if he kills everyone in this cave, he will become even stronger, and monsters won't be able to hurt him through his armor. At this moment, a huge goblin approaches him from behind. Ark is at a loss, because there should be no high-level monsters in this cave. It turns out to be the Lord of the Goblins. He is the Supreme Goblins, and with him a whole army of goblins. The scavenger assumes that the goblins were attracted by the smell of the dragon's corpse. The armor tells you to retreat because the enemy's level is too high. The Goblin Lord attacks, and Ark has to run deep into the cave. While the guy is thinking how to get out, he is attacked by goblins of the first level. The scavenger is annoyed by this monster and kills the goblins with one hand. When a guy absorbs a level, he gets an idea. If he continues to devour the levels of weak goblins, he will be able to defeat the Lord as well. Cutting monsters one by one, Ark continues to raise the level. At the 15th level, the guy meets a fork marked with a torch on his way. Armor is advised to check the side caves. Ark follows the advice and finds heaps of gold. The scavenger decides to inspect the treasury in search of something useful. In one of the boxes, he finds recovery potions and decides to use them. In the armor there is a special place for storing potions, which the guy uses. Ark wants to take some gold, but his main task is to return to the city alive, and then he will be able to get rich by selling materials. Just as Ark is about to leave, he hears someone's voice coming from behind a large box. It turns out to be a bound girl from the village of Rakiru. Her name is Mill. The guy is surprised that goblins kidnap people too. The girl thanks for the rescue and asks the name of the savior. When a guy introduces himself, the girl is surprised. She's heard a lot of rumors about a corpse collector, but he doesn't look like someone people hate at all. This is what the girl said to Ark, calling him a hero. The guy is happy that he is called a hero and is going to take the girl to the village. After wandering around the cave for a while, he asks Mill to hide behind rocks for a while. Ark feels the approach of a large number of goblins. The guy has about 20 monsters, all of them of the first level. He rushes into battle, killing opponents and absorbing their level. Soon Ark kills all the goblins and gets the 35th level. The girl wants to get out, but the guy stops her. The Lord of the Goblins comes. Ark engages in battle with the main goblin. Having wounded him in the side, the guy moves away, and he is surrounded by 1-level goblins. He doesn't want to be distracted by them and asks Mill to throw him knives. The girl does not fulfill the request well, but it does not bother the guy. He catches knives one by one and kills goblins, earning a level. Having finished with them, Ark raises the level to the 45th and engages in battle with the Goblin Lord. The guy wants to deal with him quickly, but goblins turns out to be surprisingly strong. The armor reports that this is because of a bracelet that increases performance in battle. Usually, the level is not so easy to raise. Therefore, adventurers equip items that increase performance to become stronger. But Ark had no idea that monsters could also wear equipment. He sets himself the goal of destroying the bracelet. It's not easy for a guy to fight a goblin. At one point, he notices the corpses of other goblins and pulls knives out of them, coming up with a plan. He throws them at the Lord and, while he fights back, attacks him. As a result, Ark manages to break the bracelet. Goblins begins to worry. The guy intends to end the Goblin Lord. Delivering his heroic speech, the guy fights with a monster. After knocking him to the ground and knocking out the weapon, Ark is going to deliver a crushing blow. Involuntarily, he remembers his past life and realizes that everything will change now. The guy kills the Goblin Lord and gets the 80th level. Mill comes out of hiding. She is surprised by the guy's courage and praises him, saying that now he is the strongest adventurer in this place. Together they collect valuable materials from the corpse of the Goblin Lord. The girl volunteers to help the guy carry all the loot, because he saved her. Ark wonders what to do with the rest of the goblins. The corpse of the Lord can be left, since there is no point in hiding your strength. The guy asks Mill to stay a little longer, deciding that he will end the kidnappings and destroy all the goblins in the cave. After finishing with the cave, the guy got the 100th level, and they return to the city with the materials. Ark is happy that he can become a real adventurer. The girl says that he is no longer a beginner, but the strongest adventurer of the village. And the guy thinks that he has never met adventurers with a 3-digit level. Mill says that Ark can become even stronger, and she believes in it. While they are chatting, adventurers led by Jarga approach them. He laughs at Ark again, saying that no armor will make him stronger, and he will remain a trash and a weakling. Ark gets angry and rushes at Jarg, putting a knife to his throat and asking him to shut up. Jarg starts attacking Ark, but he easily knocks the sword out of the opponent's hands. Jarg is scared and calls him a monster. His friends want to attack the Scavenger, but are afraid of his appearance. They decide to look at the level of the arch. After learning that he has the 100th level, the adventurers run away screaming. Mill is glad that the guy has changed. She wants to tell everyone about Ark's new abilities. They enter the merchant's shop. He thinks that the guy has brought some garbage again and does not want to accept it. Then Ark shows the materials he has obtained. The merchant is in shock, and at this time the guy says that he can find another person to whom he will sell all the loot. The man immediately agrees to buy everything. For this, the guy gets a whole bag of gold. Then they go to the baker. The baker was surprised by the amount of gold. After listening to Ark's story, the old man was very happy for the guy. Suddenly, the guy hears someone screaming loudly. He tells the baker and Mila to stay put, and he went to the source of the scream. A lot of people gathered. 2 wolf-like monsters attacked an ordinary girl. The guy saved her and began to fight monsters. The monsters turn out to be a group of werewolves of the 8th level. There are more of them. People shout that they need to call Jarg and his group, but Ark remembers that just recently they ran away from him in fear. The guy fights monsters, but remembers that there are a lot of people here and you can't forget about them. He's harboring a young guy who recognizes him as a scavenger. Ark doesn't care what they call him and he continues to fight with werewolves. People do not believe that the corpse collector will save them. Finishing off, as he thinks the last monster, the guy gets 172nd level. But he remembers for sure that there were 10 of them, which means that he missed one. The last werewolf was going to attack a little girl. Ark was already rushing towards her, but the monster jumped on her. The guy doesn't have time to think, because he wants to save all the people, so he throws a sword at the werewolf. The monster is defeated. The girl is happy that the scavenger brother saved her, and she thanks him for saving her. The guy is surrounded by other residents. They want to have a serious talk with him. The guy is about to leave, thinking that they don't want to see his face. But instead, the girl's mother, followed by other residents, thank him for saving her. Ark is confused and says that now that he has received the power, he will become a real adventurer and will protect them from dangers. After his speech, he walks off into the sunset. The next day, the girl Mill met Ark wandering down the street in a raincoat, without his armor. The girl asks the guy where his armor is. The guy says that he found out that he can take off and put on this armor at any time, at the click of his fingers. Ark says he's glad he was able to find this armor in that cave back then, but he is still tormented by the question, where did the dragon come from in the goblin's cave? The guy decides not to torment himself with this question. Meanwhile, Jarg and his group are running away from an unknown monster. They got to the corpse in the goblin's cave. Suddenly, Jarg's partners are killed. He doesn't understand what such a strong monster is doing here. The guy understands that this is his end. The monster strikes a crushing blow. Ark feels the monster's attack. We see Jarg's team chasing after the one-eyed giant, wanting to finish him off. After the adventurers escaped and did not protect the village from the werewolves, they had to pay a considerable amount of money as a fine. The giant runs into the goblin cave. He smells the dragon's corpse and goes to him. Jarg's group follows him, thinking that he has reached a dead end and will be easy to kill. Meanwhile, the giant eats the dragon's corpse and begins to change, becoming stronger. The group feels a terrible smell of carrion and sees a giant devouring a corpse. They notice that something is wrong. The group is scared. At this time, Ark approaches the goblin's cave and feels someone unusual. He thinks he has some kind of connection to this place. Suddenly there is a roar and a crash. The guy decides to check the sound source. As he gets closer to the goal, he feels the smell of carrion more and more. What he sees shocks him. A mutated one-eyed giant holds the corpse of an adventurer in its paw. Noticing Ark, he throws the dead body into the wall. The guy is scared by the aura of a monster. He thinks that with the 180th level he can defeat the monster, but the armor advises to avoid the battle, as the enemy's level is too high. The guy does not have time to react, and the giant strikes. Ark falls and can't get up. He looks at the characteristics of the opponent and freezes in shock. The Cyclops of the Abyss has a 200th level. Cyclops is going to attack the guy from the eye, and Ark can't get away from the attack. The guy tries to get up. The armor starts counting down to the monster's attack. Ark was able to get to his feet and move a little to the side when Cyclops attacks. The blast wave throws the guy aside, and he loses consciousness. The monster watches the unconscious body for a while, and then leaves. Ark comes to his senses. The armor informs that the enemy has left the cave. Maybe he mistook the guy for dead. Ark heals himself with a healing potion and is going to catch up with Cyclops before he gets to the village. He is stopped by the still living Jarg. He demands a healing potion from the guy, but he understands that there is no way to save the adventurer. Jarg asks to be relieved of his pain. Ark learns from the armor that it is also possible to get a level from people. After a little farewell conversation, the guy kills Jarg and gets the 200th level. The Cyclops of the Abyss is heading to the village, but Ark is blocking his way. The guy makes his heroic speech about the need to finish off the enemy, and that he is furious, and then begins to attack. The monster turns out to be stronger than it seems. Cyclops uses a trick to successfully attack Ark. He uses another healing potion. He attacks again, but now he was able to injure the Cyclops. The monster looks at the village. The guy understands what is about to happen, but before he has time to do anything, the Cyclops jumps towards the village. Ark rushes after him to save the inhabitants and prevent the monster from recovering. The Cyclops lands in the village. All the residents panic and run away. Ark tries to stop the monster with all his might, but still unsuccessfully. The monster runs away further, but the guy is not going to give up and gets up. Meanwhile, the Cyclops reach the baker. The old man stands calmly in front of the monster, realizing that it is pointless to run and it is better to buy time for the hero. The monster is interested in a calm person. Here comes Ark. He doesn't know what to do, and the baker gives him the bread that the guy ate when he was a beggar. It gives the guy strength. He's ready to fight again. The guy starts attacking, striking more and more blows. Suddenly, the Cyclops grabs him by the blade and throws him against one of the houses. Ark gets up and wants to rush into battle again, when he hears someone crying. This boy was left alone and could not get out. The guy tells him to run, but the boy is too afraid. Cyclops chooses a child as his target and jumps on him, but Ark manages to repel the attack. He sends the boy running, but he can't move anymore. The Cyclops attacks the guy with a beam from the eye, and the guy flies away for a long distance, breaking through the walls. Ark wants to heal, but he lost the potion on impact. Suddenly he loses consciousness. The hero still wants to help and asks for help. He's coming to his senses. An ordinary village girl helped him. She also wants to save the village. The girl introduces herself as Lyra. She wants to help the hero because she was born and raised in this village. The guy wants to return to the battlefield, but she says that he is still too weak to fight the Cyclops. Ark agrees, and they have to run from the monster. Along the way, she says that she knows Ark not only as a collector of corpses, but also as a hero, because she saw how he fought with werewolves. Therefore, she believes that the guy will be able to save the village.